right. Well, we're here at Occupy Oakland, and I'm speaking with Shimaa. Shimaa, can you tell us where you're from?
I'm from Cairo, Egypt, and I came to the U.S. only 3 weeks ago.
And what's the reason for your visit to the U.S.?
I'm actually a part of a documentary movie about the Egyptian uprising, and it's called F, and it's basically the movie is featuring me with other 3 women, speaking about our participation in the uprising since, and we have been filming since February until October in Egypt, and then I had the chance to come and speak about my experience here in different universities and different occupations.
Great. And so, did you play some role in the Egyptian Revolution, or you were just there, or?
I came down to the street on the 25th of January, and that was my first time ever to protest for my country.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, I became very involved in the uprising until the last day I traveled in October. I consider myself a second generation activist, if I may say. And basically, we are the ones who started to be politically active after the 25th of January, revolution in Egypt.
And can you tell us a little bit about how things are going over there now? I mean, I know the military sort of took over, so what's going on now?
It's said that the media became distracted from after Mubarak resigned. It's really getting hard. Nobody knows what is going on in Egypt because the media doesn't cover anymore. After Mubarak resigned, he appointed a council of 19 generals, and 12,000 civilians were tried in front of military courts, and 9,000 of them were convicted, ranging from 2 years to 25 years. And the targets of military trials are human rights activists, bloggers, journalists, photographers, filmmakers, workers on strike. And basically the army is doing everything that we called against when we first came on the 25th of January. They extended the state of emergency until 2013, and they are trying civilians in front of military courts. Also, they attacked the peaceful protests. Some of them were run over by the military vehicles, and it's sad that you don't really get to see all this kind of stuff on media anymore.
So what are people doing? I mean, are people still protesting in the streets? Are they still organizing? What's going on?
We became a little bit separated from the street and the average Egyptian because the army is controlling all the media outlets, all the newspapers, all TV channels, and the only source of information about what is going on is the internet. And the majority of Egyptians do not have access to the internet, except for the youth. So it's making it really hard to get to know what is going on unless you are really concerned. And they have been saying on TV that the protests are stopping the cycle of production, and they are the reason why the economy is going down, and that's why we don't really have so much support from people anymore. The numbers of protesters are shrinking, and not a lot of people show up in the street, fearing detention or killing. So I mean, this is the situation in Egypt when I left only 3 weeks ago. But we're trying to do like awareness campaigns, speaking with people, like marching and talking to them, convincing them that we're doing the right thing. We are calling for your rights and our rights as well.
Can you talk a little bit about how the U.S. plays a role? Is the U.S. government supporting the Egyptian regime, or are they still like speaking out the way that they were, earlier in the year?
Unfortunately, even during our uprising, until the last moment, the U.S. kept supporting Mubarak and his regime. And after Mubarak resigned, they kept supporting the military dictatorship. So Egypt is a military dictatorship since 1952, and the military council is just an extension to this military dictatorship. We are the second largest recipient of foreign aid after Israel from the U.S., and Egypt gets $2 billion every year. 1.3 of this money goes to the military, even if this is not what you see on media. with their statement about supporting democracy in the Middle East and in Egypt, when they are basically paying money to the military in the same time. So this is, I guess, this is the involvement of the U.S. in Egypt.
Yeah. Well, since you've been here, what do you think about the Occupy movement? Do you think that there's some hope?
Yeah, I'm so glad I'm seeing this happening. I remember back in January when my American friends were helping me in sharing videos about the Egyptian uprising, and they were like, we wish that we would be able to do something like you guys at some point. And now some of them became involved in Occupy Wall Street, and I feel so happy. I see this happening. We are all connected and we are all fighting for the same cause and the same system, the same worldwide system, the same corruption. And yeah, I'm very hopeful about this uprising. Even if it's still in the early phase or the early beginning, I have a deep feeling that something might come out of this.
Which occupies have you visited since you've been here?
Actually, since the first day I landed in New York, I visited Occupy Wall Street, and I have been like involved there in meetings and different marches, and whenever there's some kind of activity, I try to join and learn about their approaches and the way they organize everything. I visited also the occupation in New Haven and in Boston as well, and San Francisco and Oakland today. So I'm pretty excited about this movement, and I really want to connect with as much activists in the US as I can.
Awesome. And can you tell us a little bit about, there's going to be a march tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us what that's about.
So there is a group in Egypt called No to Military Trials for Civilians, and it was founded by a group of Egyptian activists in March to denounce the military trials for civilians. It's ironically the brother of the girl who started this movement was detained right after he came from the US, and his name is Ala. He's like one of the first bloggers in Arabic, and he's a prominent activist in Egypt and in the Middle East, and now he's in military jail. So No to Military Trials called for an international day of action and solidarity with the Egyptian revolution, because we feel like the Supreme Council of Armed Forces, the military council, is hijacking our revolution, and that nobody speaks about our revolution anymore. That's why there will be like rallies all over the US and in Europe in solidarity with the Egyptian movement and against military trials for civilians.
And if people want to learn more about this, is there like a website or a Facebook page or something?
They can search like No to Military Trials.
Okay.
And they are on Twitter and on Facebook, and there's a website as well, No to Military Trials.
Okay, great. Well, it sounds like the General Assembly is starting, so we should get back over there.
Okay.
Thanks for talking with us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.